Welcome to Content Breaker. Guy's handling his business. I'm Kelz. We're, of course, joined by Strangely Entertaining and Babelvoice Zog. Today, we're talking about Code Geass. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm great. This is one of my favorite shows.
Pretty good. Not trying to take over the world good, but pretty good.
Why not?
Nonetheless, I don't know.
Why not? Dream bigger. So, I am a major fan of the mech genre, right?
Yeah.
All of my most favorite shows are sad boy shit with giant robots. There's no two ways about it.
So this is right up your alley.
Yes, Evangelion, the OG Mobile Suit Gundam.
Oh my god!
All right, even Eureka 7, where we have the sad boy with surfing mechs, stuff like this. And this one is just sad boys, but political drama.
Pretty
He's
much,
not wrong, though. Yeah.
Which, does it a disservice to just sum it up in that, because it's so much more. It's so much more intricate. If I was to compare this to two things, it would be Mobile Suit Gundam meets Death Note in terms of the intricate twists and turns and political stuff that goes on.
That's a pretty good explanation of it. Non-spoiler explanation. Words are hard, guys.
Which we're going to spoil the shit out of this. So just be aware. So let's get into it. Let me get this pulled up. The thing I wrote on absolutely the fly. It is definitely political drama with giant robots, but let's get into that. Of course, there is war. And the war is between the Great Britannian Empire with the royal family and guerrilla fighters that do not want to do whatever the fuck that they're being told to do, right? And they're fighting this war via the use of giant robots in a way that is kind of different than some other giant robots. The design and the usage is a bit different.
One thing I really like about the design for these robots is you can tell where the pilot is and in a size relevant to the robot. Like, I watch a lot of Gundam series and I don't know if the person's like this big or just full on regular person in the torso. Yeah. Taking up all of the torso. It's kind of weird.
Definitely. That's something that they do an incredibly good job at. And that really does play in the early part of this series as we're struggling with the perils of war and conflict, with the separation between the robot and the person, right? You can kill a faceless robot, but when you see the human inside of it, it is so much more challenging. And that's part of the commentary that this show makes about that. That is a common thread through mech animes, but this show does an excellent example of that.
Oh yeah. It sometimes takes it one step further to say, like, would you even be able to do it if you knew the face? Say you were able to pull out some crazy ass strategy like dropping a mountain on top of your enemy. But in the process, it takes out a ton of casualties.
Yeah.
Would you be able to do it? Even if you could, is it really the right move to make?
Yeah.
One of the biggest themes throughout the whole show is, do the ends justify the means? And at what point does it matter? Does it no longer matter?
Yeah. Which is just so great because it tells it from more than just one character's point of view on that. Like that's a challenge throughout the show. I can think of, we have, of course, Lelouch's example of him struggling for revenge against his father that got everyone in this predicament. But even on a singular character level, we have the situation with, of course, I try to call her name, and I immediately realized I didn't look it up. But the girl with glasses, who later on, enormous spoilers, tries to blow up the school with a nuclear weapon on a giant robot and fucks a table. Like, that's her struggling with like the goal for revenge and taking action, and then like having something happen to change her mind.
Nina. I think her name's Nina.
I'm gonna go with
Nina.
that.
Yeah,
Nina sounds.
That's it.
She's the smart girl. She's got the glasses and everything, and she just decides, working on this new energy source that could probably be used for good. Oh, that dude killed the girl I have a crush on. Well, time to turn it into a super nuke.
Man, and not only does she turn the robot into a super nuke, she goes on to be the one that heads the super nuke division, and then has to have this moral struggle once she sees what happens when she actually detonates it. And it's like, what?
Wait, you mean bombs blow up?
I mean, people die.
People, what? No, this whole show, man, just does that like the entire way through. Like, is it ethical to take over someone's mind and have them do your bidding? Or like,
man,
is it ethical to make jokes about murdering a bunch of people and then have that blow up in your face? Quite literally.
Look, everybody needs their coping mechanisms. Some people joke about dark humor.
Wouldn't it be funny if everyone died? Wait, Euphemia, what are you doing? It's like, the entire time, this whole show is a roller coaster from start to finish. I mean,
now, granted,
it is great.
There are some moments that I do know that there are some people out there who dislike parts of this show specifically because of asshole moments. Like, oh, my ultimate power to command you to do anything has gone crazy. At the moment, I make a joke. And now you're committing genocide. Okay, fuck.
In my opinion, that's an excellent way to make this kind of bullshit power not work out in favor of our protagonist.
Which is also something I really love. Lelouch takes so many L's through his tenure. There's a lot of people who compare him to Light Yagami, and Light's the person who's always winning. Lelouch is the person who gets humbled by the shit going wrong and tries to stay humbled when he wins.
Because he knows you ain't winning for long.
It's one of those, like, he's so smart, but almost to like a detriment to where it just circle backs around, like just blows up in his face, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, we know a couple of those people who are so smart, but like couldn't figure out like just how to live life. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm like, who you talking about?
You just got that look like, careful how you use your words here.
Yeah. But no, definitely. The Lelouch gets his because he thinks he's smarter than he is. Or more to say, he thinks his smarts outweigh experience, which he gains the hard way.
Yeah.
Early on in the show, he even says that the greatest factor in battle is the human factor. Literally, the next battle, he treats all of his people like they're pawns on a chessboard, and he nearly gets caught because of it.
You gotta listen to yourself, Chief.
Don't forget your own advice, bitch.
Yeah, I was like, take your own advice. Why does no one take their own advice around here?
Real quickly, let's talk about Geass as a power. It's not on the list in the order that whatever, but let's talk about Geass as a power. And the few characters that kind of are important to Geass.
About half the main cast.
Shit. I mean, yes, but
I like how this strange, unexplainable power. Well, first, I love how it's never explained why this thing exists or where the hell it came from. But I like how it manifests differently in anyone who obtains it based on the deepest wish within their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Lelouch has felt who was supposed to be born into royalty, be in line to be emperor of like a third of the planet. And yet he's always felt powerless his whole life. If only he had the power to make a difference. And he's given an ability to give a single order to somebody and they will follow it down to the letter. Whereas someone like C2, she grew up as a slave in the Middle Ages. So all she wanted was someone to care about her, someone to love her. Hers manifests as a way that people are so infatuated with her that they just shower her with everything she could possibly imagine. It's literally a monkey's paw.
Absolutely. And then we wind up with, the emperor, finding out the Emperor's Geass, which, what?
I'm still trying to find the downsides to his power.
Your children hate you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
but that's less his.
I don't think that's the power. More just his attitude toward everything.
It's not his Geass. It's him just being an asshole dad.
He's just a dick.
To which Charles V. Britannia goes on the list for worst dads of anime. I need to write this down.
There. He's like a toxic father that can alter your memory. Like, it's the worst combination of anything I've ever seen.
But there's a couple of characters, you had mentioned C2, and there one that's named V2.
Yeah. You never find out what his Geass power was. As far as I know, there are some supplementary materials that I haven't gotten my hands on. Mm-hmm. So it could be explained in there. I don't know. But yeah, no, you just see him with the code. So he's already just one of those immortal little fucks.
There's so many, I'm scrolling through the list on the wiki of all the people who have Geass, and I'm like, this is extensive.
Well, and it goes so not only does Code Geass the series, so Code Geass the Rebellion of Lelouch, or Lelouch's Rebellion, or whatever, that has 2 seasons, which make up 24 episodes,
each. So in total is around 50.
Yeah. But there's also 5 movies that are attached to the series that I do not think are associated with, or a timeline related, but are important. Sort
of. The first couple movies, I think the first 3 are supposed to be retellings of the series. Some things are in different orders. Some things are slightly different to condense it down into a movie. There's one that is a straight up what happened in between season 1 and season 2, which that one's a bit of a trip. And their last one that came out fairly recently is called Lelouch of the Resurrection.
And, I have not seen that yet, actually.
It's kind of crazy.
Okay. Is it worth watching?
It's a sequel series, but it goes by the movies timelines, not the TV shows, not the animes.
Okay.
Which I would hope, because I saw the ending of the TV show and we didn't.
That's the thing. There's a reason it's called The Resurrection. Because the movies and the TV show basically end in the same way. Yeah. But there's specific details the movies focus on more to set up for this final one.
You gotta make me go back and watch basically the entire series, but in movies, and then to watch the resurrection part so I can understand.
Welcome to my world.
All right. I definitely, I'm in the OVAs or ONAs or whatever they are. OVAs.
Yeah.
Akito the Exiled, which I think is a 5-part OVA that fits in that timeline between seasons 1 and 2. Following a different character, but of course, if I had the time,
yeah, it's a lot.
Let's of course, war with robots, tragedy, but let's get into the family. So, the
That's
plot A. let's go with plot B. Okay, it's Lelouch dealing with his family. Plot A is Lelouch as Zero, the masked villain trying to save the universe, right? The side plot is Lelouch trying to get revenge for him being exiled and disgraced, and his disabled sister, disrespected, and like trying to come for his dad to kill his ass. That's plot B, which, he's one, Lelouch is one of many like royal siblings. So how do y'all feel about the royal family's characters?
It makes sense.
I mean, it kind of, especially to have that many freaking siblings and whatnot, it makes sense that they're all like half siblings, that some of them just grew up together, knowing each other in the same house. But yeah, as far as like motivation for Lelouch, it makes sense that he's going the route he goes. I mean, his mom gets gunned down in her own house. His sister, his little sister, goes blind and is paralyzed for witnessing it. And when he goes to his dad, the emperor, and says, "Yo, what the fuck we got to do about this?" His dad's just like, "Little bitch, what the fuck you mean we? Get out. I'm sending you and your sister out to Japan. Get the fuck out of my house."
Mayhem. So absolutely, this is a great setup to like motivate Lelouch in a way that the viewer cares about, and really sets up that struggle about Lelouch having to do the things that he has to do. And the question there is it for the good of the cause, or is it for the good of Lelouch's revenge? And that's the challenge always.
Another thing that I love is that his little sister, Natalie, is just the perfect little cinnamon bun you must protect.
Gosh,
she is amazing,
you're not even joking.
And the sweetest thing ever. And I'm just like, no, I can see why people would burn down the world for her.
I mean, Table Coon stopped getting love because Natalie rolled in the room.
Even Nina's just like, no, she's too precious. Can't do this to Table Coon with her here.
I pulled up this picture for the rundown, and I had forgotten this is how this scene goes. And I realized that we, the viewer, have seen a very explicit inanimate object and human relationship, but Natalie did not. Natalie heard every bit of this, but she did not see anything. And man,
you also got to think, we didn't hear that door open. That door might have just been left open, and she might have heard that just from down the hall.
Yeah, poor Table Coon. He didn't deserve it, but thank goodness for Natalie just coming in saving Table Coon.
Nah, man. But yeah, so families being kind of the evil antagonist is very much a mech anime trope.
I will say
going all the way back.
It helps when all of your siblings, besides Donnelly, are kind of douchebags. Kind of was like, I don't feel so bad for Lelouch murdering them,
Damn.
All the other brothers and siblings besides Euphemia, but
when they're all basically Nazis, it's kind of easy to root for the guy shooting him in the head.
Yeah.
Even though he's literally committing genocide in the process as well.
Go ahead.
It kind of validates what they're talking about while also fighting against them. It's kind of a lose-lose situation.
Which, in my very personal opinion, shout out to this not being Japan making it a Nazi allegory. Yeah. And Japan making it a British imperialism allegory. We're really spicing it up here.
I actually really appreciated that angle of like a alternate timeline of what would happen if Britain just never stopped like taking over the world. Like what if
what happened if Britain had giant robots? That's the thing with mech anime, which I love so much.
This is also true. Also very true. Yeah, just forget the Navy. Let's build giant robots.
Giant robots and superpowers. Like,
yeah. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
So great. I'll always keep coming back to it.
I tell you. So we had mentioned C2 as kind of this supernatural being, immortal thing that helps guide Lelouch, but is also like, love me, Lelouch, and is also like, I'm the only one who knows your secret, Lelouch. Very, interesting relationship.
Give
loves
me
pizza,
Lelouch. Yeah,
exactly. Really number one in my heart. But a man of culture, I'm telling you, spent good hard-earned money on that.
Oh hell yeah.
Truly worth the expense. But we got a cast of friends who go on the adventure with Lelouch in his high school drama as a guerrilla separatist. Let's talk about his friends.
Oh my God. The high school friends, his terrorist friends, or his just...
Yeah. His high school friends that are his guerrilla friends and his imperial friends.
Oh my God.
Because it's high school, it doesn't matter.
Will Lelouch be able to balance his high school life while also leading a pact of guerrilla terrorists? Find out next week.
Somehow, yes, until the school gets blown up the second time.
The second time. Oh, God damn.
What a wild.
If we're just talking about his friends from school, I like Millie just because she's chaotic fun. She's kind of like school president who's just like, you know what? I'm here to have a party, so fuck everything else. Revel's kind of useless outside of transportation.
Yeah.
He's the friend you just want to give you to drive you everywhere. Shirley had some potential for storytelling until Mao showed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But looking back on the whole series, it's kind of like, oh, Shirley would be that love interest he would have if he wasn't Zero. If tragedy didn't befall him and he wasn't set on revenge.
Gosh.
Or changing the world. If he just lived a normal life. But then he wouldn't be Lelouch, so
I honestly I do feel that, like, if we pivot towards just talking about Shirley's whole arc just for like a second, like, because she was just very well-meaning, she cared for everybody. I think it says she won an award for being one of the most liked female characters.
She
came out.
She won one of the popularity polls.
Yeah. Like, and I see why. She's a good character. She was a good character.
And she's loyal.
And she's loyal. But the actions of Lelouch kind of,
when you walk that trail of blood, tragedy follows.
Cut off that path of his life, and so all he had left to do was a deep tragedy. Code Geass. I really like just.
The drama.
The drama.
Oh,
thank you.
The drama. Go watch Fruits Baskets. You'd love it. But no, absolutely. I agree. Part of the thing that makes Code Geass so really incredibly engaging is the relationship drama and the perils and the struggle in the world they have built. It's an underdog story. You're really rooting for Lelouch to kick his dad's ass. But there's a lot that comes to get to that point. Like, I don't know, like international war, you know?
He essentially has to build his own nation just to compete. Which, yeah, good on him. He made it happen. Until they turned on him because of all of his lies and scheming and crazy superpower.
Yep. One character I want to talk about is Lelouch's best friend, which is Suzaku Kururagi.
I honestly don't think you can have an actual discussion about this show without talking about both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are basically both the main character.
Yeah, Suzaku kind of takes a different path than Lelouch. But Suzaku has his I want to save Japan, basically.
Yeah. They both have essentially the same goal, to change the world for the betterment of the people they care about. But Lelouch is willing to walk that trail of blood and go from the outside just to destroy everything. Suzaku wants to work from the inside, basically becoming a part of the system that has done all the horrible, terrible shit. And once he makes it to the top, then he'll change things for the better.
And another thing I like about Suzaku is he basically gets kind of semi-immortality, if you will. When Lelouch orders him to live.
Yeah.
And that pops up several times. He just hears live, and he's like, I can't die. Crap.
It's like, that assassin I was going to let kill me, I can no longer let stab me.
He's
Must
gonna be,
defend myself.
He's going to be sitting in his deathbed, and he's like, time for me to go. And he's just going to hear live, and he's just like,
I can't breathe, but I can't die. This is torture. God damn it, Lelouch.
It's like, I'm a zombie.
Things you really don't want to think about.
Man.
I would love to see it actually, anyway.
But yes, Suzaku is Lelouch's friend, presumably through the entire series. Of course, as the lies and truth about Lelouch comes out, they are at odds. Lelouch then involves him in his final plot that we know or do not know. They were in on it. It's one of those are y'all friends? Are you just doing this because you hate this man and it was time to get him? Where does this sit? That's one of the great parts about Code Geass.
I love how it never tells you this was the right answer. Yeah. It just tells you this is what happened.
Absolutely. And of course we have some other characters Lord, what's her name?
Which one?
Her name is
Colin. What color hair? Oh, redhead.
Colin.
Yeah, Colin Kozuki.
Man.
The ace pilot of the Black Knights.
Third love interest of Lelouch.
Third love interest.
Time to finish off this love rectangle. Love square.
Bruh, it's a triangle. It has 3 sides.
No, it's Shirley. Had Shirley. It becomes a triangle. Had Shirley.
Stop making so much sense. Stop geography.
We don't
geography in me.
Geometry.
Yeah, that one. But no, yes, Colin, of course, the terrorist fighter that doesn't want to put up with any of this bullshit anymore, is also, a bomb-ass fighter in a giant robot.
By day, ace pilot by night. As the
which character? But yes, man, the torture scene, not the torture scene, but when she's locked up.
When she's locked up and she's about to be drugged.
Yeah. And she's like, that whole thing about, man.
Yeah, they don't pull their punches.
No, they do not shy away from any of that sort of stuff. And I'm like,
That being said, it was a real moment of catharsis afterwards, seeing her beat the shit out of Suzaku for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because fuck that man.
Awesome. Love this show. The first time I watched this, Colin was probably my favorite character, honestly. Badass pilot, doesn't take any shit, but knows the importance of keeping up appearances. So while she's at school, she'll act kind of weaker and meager, so that when she's out doing the terrorist thing, no one can connect the dots between them. Yeah. Even if her face does get out there, she pulls a full-on Batman.
Also,
it's nah, I can't be that person. They act completely different than me.
What was her mech's name? All I know is her mech was
Gurren.
pretty cool. Gurren? Okay. Her
It
mech
was
was
the
pretty
Gurren.
cool. Got that giant claw. She just like shoved and like made people explode or whatever.
She could just blow people up by touching them.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Hell yeah, man. All right. So let's talk about a bunch of scenes that we kind of haven't mentioned already.
So many.
That really stick out in our mind as like, this is Code Geass to us.
Yeah.
One for me is the ending of season 1 and then the absolute beginning of season 2, right? So ending of season 1, we get all this supernatural crazy shit. Like, you know, we find Lelouch is going toe to toe with somebody with his eyeball powers, and then he gets presumably domed. If I'm remembering this right.
He's wearing the mask when he straight up gets shot in the head. And
Yes.
I don't know how the hell he made that thing, but damn, just bang, crack straight down the middle. Damn awesome reveal. I love whoever came up with that.
Mhm.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a full on like Western style standoff at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who's going to shoot first?
Tension was high. I was just like,
Which, you know, what an incredibly exciting ending to season 1.
man, now I'm just remembering like the entire time I'm like on the edge of my seat, like almost like every time something like tense happens, I'm just like, who's gonna
Next
die?
episode.
Then it's like, yeah, like, I had to binge it. There's no way. I feel for the people who watched this as it was premiering. I'm like, I don't know how y'all let survive.
Because we didn't have any other option.
Pretty much, yeah.
But so that's like one of the last scenes of season 1. And then season 2 opens with some kind of air raid. We have absolutely no idea what the fuck is going on. It's just, all right, Colin's doing something and they're over some kind of city. And it's like, where are we? It is
Going on.
I must advocate that it is okay when you start season 2 to not have any idea in the first 15 minutes what is happening.
Yeah.
Just stick with it. You didn't miss an episode. This is just how it is.
You know that Zack Snyder thing where he tells his stories out of order? He just took over directing for a second. Just keep with it. It'll be fine.
So, what are some of y'all's?
I actually didn't put this one on here, but thinking about the show, it's something that always pops into my head. It happens at the begin, but at the end of the first episode and the end of season 1 and season 2, where Lelouch gets the Geass power. He stands up in front of a crowd of people, all pointing their guns at him, and he just says, "Only those." I'm gonna have to paraphrase this because I can never get it quite down. Those who kill should only be those willing to be killed, before just commanding every last one of them to die. That right there just tells you this guy from the start of his crusade is willing to die for it. He's putting his life on the line every step of the way.
Was that when he first activated his Geass? I actually wanted to.
Yeah, that was the first order he ever gave.
It was just kind of funny. He's like, "Now kill yourself." I was like, "Yes, sir."
Like when you first hear him say, it's like, "Wow, you're a hypocrite." But when you think about it for a little bit, he's actually like, "Oh no, he's willing to die straight up from the start." So when you bring his whole plan and everything else he's done into perspective, it kind of shows that the end of the series was going to happen no matter what.
Which, what an ending.
Yeah.
But definitely the kind of the foreshadowing, the setup, the motivation and reasoning and telling the story that makes the ending make sense to the viewer.
Yeah.
The entire way, is great. Even though the ending is like, you're not going to do it, are you? Holy shit, you did it.
You got a way out of
What?
this, and what the fuck happened?
You were supposed to have the happy ending that I wanted for you, but you didn't because you're a lunatic.
Holy shit.
But, yeah. We're going to keep teasing this out till we get to the end. But definitely, I agree with you that, you know, those scenes of Lelouch just doing his shit is really what makes that whole plot line really flow so cohesively. Strange. What do you got?
Man, one of my favorite parts was also towards the beginning when he just like you see his commitment to his whole thing where he just straight up murders his brother Clovis. Like the first victim of his entire plan. It was like, oh dang, he's serious. He's gonna murder his whole family. Sort of, you know, but I'm sure he doesn't really see them as family, but
Some of them here and there.
you know.
Weeb ass general. The death of one of the main family's characters that is kind of mildly insignificant is totally a mech cliche. You just kill one to motivate the main family to introduce the other family characters, and then you're just like, oh, they killed my brother. Yeah, for the rest of the 94 episodes to come.
Yeah, sounds about right. Oh my god.
But the fact, there are so many, familiar characters, and you begin to care about the fact that one has gone crazy because Lelouch fucked up, and the other has gone crazy because Lelouch has fucked up, but not in a supernatural way.
Yeah.
And then the fact that the little sister is just cold, chilling, and she knows what's going on, but she's doing her best to keep her shit together.
Yeah.
Because she knows Lelouch is not what he's telling her.
Oh my god. That the whole time Nonnelly's just sitting there like, all right, I know he's lying to me. I know it. But I'm gonna give him a bit. I know he comes around. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It's still gonna be fine.
He'll find friends who don't fuck tables. I can believe in him wholeheartedly. He'll get it together. All he has to do is graduate high school.
It'll be great. Why am I on a float?
How did I get
Why
here?
am I here?
You just got to be thinking all through season 2. Nonnelly's just like, how the hell did this happen? Why am I here?
Lord.
I just want to see what's happening. I can't.
No. Anyways. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. So let's talk about, again, the fact that C2 is an ancient witch that is probably from the Dark Ages and has already died 5 times, but nothing hurts her more than not eating pizza.
Yeah.
There's really
I can't help but think of just that scene where they're trying to make the biggest pizza in the world. Chaos ensues, and the dough ends up on trees. It's covering a tree, and she just stares at it with the saddest face ever, just like she's about to cry. And I'm just like, oh, you precious little thing. You committed genocide. Why do I like you?
You committed genocide.
Because that's not the metric we judge this show by.
Sponsored by Pizza Hut.
Whole ass though, legit Pizza Hut.
If I remember right, I saw an article saying Pizza Hut in Japan ran a promo because of Code Geass, because with C2 as the mascot, because of how often she would eat it in whatever medium it was being portrayed in.
It's good to know that in a world that is dominated by Britain rule, that Pizza Hut still manages to exist.
Pizza Hut still exists.
Some capacity.
That American company, Pizza Hut, can still reach a market that no one else can, even in this dystopian future where fake Britain rules with giant robots.
Oh my God.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Product placement galore. It survives the test of tragedy. Oh my God. So we've mentioned Table Coon and Nuclear Weapon Girl a couple of times. Yeah. Let's go ahead and round out our conversation on her. What a crazy arc. What an entirely wild, crazy arc that we got to follow with this random ass side character.
Yeah, what a crazy C or D plot. I don't know which plot thread this
she's
was.
Like plot. She's like plot.
Plot
Q.
T.
Yeah.
Plot T.
Plot T for table.
T for table. Yeah. But it's actually really interesting, and I can only say this because I've watched this show like 6 times. But she started out as just this typical, clearly privileged for being in this rich ass fucking school. And she's the most like afraid of anything different. But you can tell that all of that comes up from like the environment she grew up in. She's a Britannian from a group of people who have nearly conquered the world to the point where they take over a country. You don't get to use your country's name anymore. You're Area 11. And they're known as a number instead of a people. And one of those people comes is in her school. She's suddenly scared of him. She goes from that to doomsday weapon designer to working for the guy who killed her crush and is basically freeing the country that she was afraid of.
Yeah. And then regrets everything.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking wild.
Again, wild ride from beginning to end. Just
that's how you tell side character stories right there.
It really is.
Make me care about them in a real way.
We need more nuclear bombs in stories.
I don't think is the message, but
sorry.
We need more tables.
We need more tables.
Devon.
Still no.
Anyway,
I'm happy you're thinking about it, but I don't think that's it.
Oh, okay. They are still
okay. I regret talking about this character again.
No.
Everyone who watched this show does.
Yeah, fun, crazy, wild experiences. Weird time. What does this mean on this list? Was Moe or Mo pointless?
Okay.
Is that talking about
I'm pretty sure I spelled it wrong. I have no idea how to spell his name.
Oh,
but
Mao.
the character Mao. He's another guy who got Geass at one point from C2. He shows up in season 1 to make Shirley go insane after finding out Lelouch's secret, being the terrorist leader Zero, and messes with her brain enough to convince her that both her and Lelouch are monsters who need to die. And
I mean,
I have forgotten about this motherfucker.
Exactly.
I think that's why he's putting
that's
this in
why
here.
I was asking, like,
was he
pointless? Because some of the stuff that comes from his stories are actually really cool and kind of important. But at the same time, there had to be another way to get that information out there. You didn't have to spend like 5 episodes on this guy.
Okay, so he was part of the Shirley story, kind of, sort of.
He was a part of the Shirley story initially, and then Lelouch pulls out one of the best moves he does all freaking series, and foreshadows how he ends up beating his brother Schneisel at the end, with the whole video recording predicting what they're going to say and whatnot.
Yeah.
While using his Geass to convince the police to line all up and gun him down the moment he does something. Somehow he survives that, though. And
there's no telling, man.
He makes his way to the school, kidnaps Nunnally, and forces Suzaku and Lelouch to work together. in the grand scheme of things, it's amazing foreshadowing for what the end of the series was supposed to be. But I don't know. It just besides him spilling the secret about Suzaku killing his own father and C2 killing Mao and saying, "I'll see you in C's world," foreshadowing the Emperor's final plan, I don't see a point for the guy.
I mean, I wouldn't call him maybe as pointless. You bring up a good point. I mean, there's an argument that Mao could just be taken out of the story. We'd probably lose nothing. But I think he's less pointless and just more forgettable, because I really didn't remember him at all till I looked at the wiki and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's kind of, I had absolutely forgotten about him. But no, looking at kind of the story plot of at least season 1, we have the relationship between C2 and Lelouch, and it's very flirty, coy, spooky. But like seeing Mao as like the same person in the past, like Lelouch's parallel,
like what,
but not as
what he could become.
In the relationship to C2, except Lelouch is a fucking lunatic who's going to kill his dad, no matter what. Mao presumably didn't have what it takes. So like see their interaction. In my mind, it's a calling back to, Yu Yu Hakusho, right? Yu Yu Hakusho. After we get done with the Dark Tournament, we go on to the Chapter Black arc, where we see Sensui as the former spirit detective who is, now the big bad villain because he got, turned off. And then we're fighting Yusuke, who is the current spirit detective in the same role in relationship to the spirit world, and Enma and all them, but like a parallel that followed a different path.
Yeah. The Dark Mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, because Mao's a punk bitch, we don't remember it.
This is true. This is
true. Man, all right. What a good ass point. What a great question. All right. Let's keep it moving to some of the bigger reveals. Okay. So Lelouch fucks up yet again. And he uses his Geass, and he somehow the command is given to Euphemia,
his sister, who's the nice princess, by the way, who we're rooting for.
Yes, to murder everyone.
Yeah,
because at this point, Euphemia's like, yes, we need like everybody to make peace. We love everybody. We're gonna give Japan citizens like proper, because they had this whole rebellion going on. And then all of a sudden Lelouch is like, wouldn't it be funny if everybody died? And then Euphemia is like, yeah, it would be funny. Let's do it.
Them all.
And you're just like, oh no.
I mean, she's basically in love with Suzaku. And because he's Japanese, the moment she sees him, she's just like, oh, I need to kill you too.
That broke my heart. I was like, no, Suzaku, no. I was like, everybody's losing their love over here. Ah!
That's what war does.
That's what war does. Everybody lose love.
But that's what Lelouch does.
Pretty much. This is true.
If I can't be happy, no one can be happy. Not even my dad or fellow siblings or random citizens.
God damn.
Man.
Oh yeah, I still see him running through all the bloodied corpses and everything. They're just being like, please save us. It's like, I caused this shit.
I still see Euphemia just laughing, mowing down people. She's like fired, just laughing. And I'm like, no, you baby, no. Turn the Geass off.
Because we know he can't. And because we know that everything she's doing is 100% opposed to what her character is.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so heart-wrenching.
Mhm.
She is basically Nonali without the handicaps. And just seeing her do that is... Oof. It's a shock to your system.
Nonali can't be Geassed by Lelouch because she cannot see.
Yep.
Mm.
Boom. Which doesn't help because he doesn't tell her shit.
True. Plus, that only works in season 1.
Good point. So some of the other big events are when Lelouch uses Galahad for the first time. Galahad is this mech unit made by Britannia.
All of the major unique ones are named after Knights of the Round made by Britannia, are named after Knights of the Round Table. Yeah, Tristan, Mordred, Lancelot's the big one that Suzaku pilots. But yeah, I love how when this one shows up, Galahad, who was basically, hi kitty, basically I think Galahad was the one who found the Holy Grail and returned it to King Arthur. But
that's a great question.
I'm not privy to.
It's been a while since I've read up on my Arthurian lore.
Yeah,
but essentially, this one just shows up, says, "Hey, guess what? I got shoulder-mounted Kamehamehas. Let me fuck your day up."
Not only do you need 2 people to actually pilot this thing, which Lelouch can pretty much do on his own because he's just that smart. Like the first time you see the okay, he has this nightmare mech. What is he? What does it actually do? And then you see it happen. He's like, hold on, I'm calculating everything. Like, what are you calculating? And he's like, here you go. It's just like, oh, it destroys everything. Good to know.
And of course, he's carrying the Master Vibration Sword, or Mazer Vibration Sword, excuse me, the Excalibur. This is the most badass mech in the show. Until
really
it gets Millie rocked by Suzaku's mech, which is Lancelot Albion.
I do love how every upgrade Lancelot gets, Colin's mech, the Gurren, gets a similar kind of upgrade. Just so it's a total Naruto and Sasuke thing. They just keep going up at the same time until you get the final showdown.
And, speaking of the mechs, though, the designs of just everything, I think these are some of my favorite mech designs and character designs just in general. Like Zero's outfit, Lelouch's Zero's Persona's outfit.
That helmet.
I'm like, I kind of want all of it. I
would not. I'm not tall and lanky enough, but damn, would it be dope?
Man, with the character designs from this show, I don't think anybody tall and lanky enough. But I still want it.
Japanese high schoolers.
Super thin. I was like, y'all need to go eat some meat or something. Put some.
It's a war, man.
It's a war.
Lord.
But no, Lancelot's design, Galahad's design, I'm like, man, these are so cool.
Season 2 comes around and they start having Shinkichiro, Zangetsu.
Rolo's mech, right? That's his
Vincent.
name, Rolo's mechs. Yeah,
that was the Vincent.
Vincent. So cool.
I may have watched this show too much.
Nah.
Man, but I also love the basic ass Sutherland. Give me the Zaku of this series, man. Give me the mass production ass robot at the very beginning. That's our introduction to the robots. And it's like, yes, nondescript, not important. Give me the regular ass robot.
This is what you're going to be seeing most of the time. This is the bare bones one. And then just upgrade them from there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Very, very important because you can't start the wild, crazy robot progression too early. You got to set the bar with some basic shit.
Yeah. Gotta show why
Which,
the other ones
again,
are special.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can then compare them to those.
Mech anime cliche, man. The power scaling of robots. We've been doing this forever. But definitely, oh my god, the mechs.
Just so cool.
Just so
Just all of them.
I find it hilarious that Jeremiah's he gets nicknamed Orange Boy, and they run with that so much that even his best mech just looks like a giant fucking orange. He's such a
looking at the wiki
so
page for how many mechs actually show up. There's so many. This is like the
There
B
is.
type, A type. And I'm like, this is probably as many. I don't know. Like, it's a lot.
All right. Talking overall, how do you feel about the mechs being called nightmares? Nightmare being spelled Knightmare.
Yeah, no, I dig it. It's a different twist. At least we don't call them giant robots or mechs or like nightmares. Kind of sound
Mobile
cool.
suits.
Mobile suits. Or,
It's a nice little unique way to describe them that when you know someone's talking about a mech and they use the term nightmare, you know it's Code Geass.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little differential, but also keeps it very clearly just a mech show. The only thing special about it is the term.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic that mechs are used with. But hey, when your
Very
show's
important.
filled with this kind of style anyway, why not run with it?
Man, the thing I love in anime in general, the thing that really sticks out in my mind is when it is the show takes itself seriously and there is specificity, right? That's why I love Girls und Panzer. Girls und Panzer is a joy of a time. It is absolutely non-serious. It's just, let's watch schoolgirls do the sport of tanks. But the show takes tanks seriously, and there is specificity in the types of tanks. These are whole ass real tanks from different countries, like very particular, right? So like that's why this show works so well in my mind as well, because it's like we are going to tell this gritty political drama through the lens of a teenager. However, it's not your basic ass high school show, right? We're just using high school because he's got to go to high school to be relatable. And
Japan.
Yeah.
Because
Japan. And he's got to live a double life, right? So we have to give him airtime to live in the Lelouch world. And we're going to have all these crazy fucking robots, and they're just going to get crazier and crazier and cooler and cooler and cooler. The fact that it's not just here's a giant robot and here's a schoolboy that's lying to his family. Because it's not just that, it works so well. So recommendations. I already know the answer, but we have to say the words because they're important. Would you recommend Code Geass seasons 1 and 2?
100%. Like, if you do nothing else with Code Geass, just watch the 2 seasons for the anime. I don't care if you go and watch the movies, read the material, the OVAs, whatever. But even if the ending of it was spoiled for you, the ride to get to that ending is amazing, and you need to experience it.
Agreed. 100% agree.
Oh, right. The ending. Let's talk about that. All right. So Lelouch has achieved his game plan. I'm going to become the evil that was my father, to change the system. And he does it, and he's at his inauguration kind of parade, and they're on a float, and he gets square ass murdered in public. He gets assassinated
by someone wearing his old terrorist clothes.
Which is Suzaku.
Oh, god damn, I loved it so much.
Suzaku as Zero kills Lelouch.
Oh, shit. I absolutely did not see it coming. There were plenty of times where this show should have been spoiled for me before I saw that. I don't know how it was not.
No, same. I was like, wow, this is how old, and I'm not being spoiled on it. That's crazy.
Oh,
Man. Because the ending deserves the same respect we have tried to pay it here. We played at it, but
yeah,
no, it's one of the greatest swerves in my opinion in anime.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
to find out that was his plan all along.
All along,
At least the bare minimum where he started planning this stuff was right after he killed his dad and his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that he was able to put all this shit together and make it happen. God damn.
Very wild. Very satisfying. You're like, how could the main character die? How could that even be satisfying? It's very satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
The whole journey.
Oh, yeah.
It puts it up there for like just the ending and the ride alone probably puts it up there with one of my favorites anime, along with like Fairy Tail, Madoka Magica, and like Code Geass. They're all like right there. Eureka 7, so good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met somebody who was unsatisfied with this ending.
And after this number of episodes, it's like, how did you pay off so well in a world where we have seen a bunch of anime that has not really delivered?
No, they're fall flat on their face. Like, what?
No, at the beginning of the podcast, you even mentioned Death Note. I see people all the time like arguing back and forth whether Death Note's ending was good or not, or whether it makes any kind of sense.
It was
ain't no one say that about this.
No, no.
Yeah. All right. So rounding it out, of course, because for your typical shonen protagonist, this is Mecha March, supposedly. How does this fit in with other mech anime in your mind? Like, where on the scale of mech anime, and what do you relate it to?
Let's see. Political drama with giant robots. Yeah, that's a mech anime.
All of
them. Honestly, mech anime isn't something I'm super into, but like I said before, this is one of my favorite shows. Like, period. No more discussion about it. And to see a genre that I don't really associate with too much being in that category, I can't recommend it enough. This is one of the best shows I think that's out there. The only thing that takes away kind of from the mech aspect of it would be the supernatural stuff, but even then, I don't think it does it too much.
Which, let me tell you, that's not the case. Mech anime has been doing supernatural shit forever.
Oh, there we go.
Talk about fucking Mobile Suit Gundam.
I was about to
the
say,
new
what are
types?
New types, thank you. I was like, what's that?
The
New types.
We ain't no old types for on here. With the new types, which are, mental, telepathic bullshit.
That's what Gundam needs to do.
Oh,
They need to bring in the old type. It's a new archetype for the.
Well, we the old types around here. When I was your age, the giant robots didn't drive themselves. Uphill both ways. I don't know. It's the old type. Strange mech anime. How does this fit?
In terms of purely a mech anime, like if we were to put it in the mech anime category, from Mobile Suit Gundam to I don't know, the Magic Knight. Well, I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, doesn't the mechs themselves are merely vehicles for the plot and the action, and then later on they just kind of get a little pushed off to the side. They're still there, but they're not as important as maybe in the first season. It's really good though.
Yes.
But if you're watching this because you're in love with mechs, I probably wouldn't recommend it as much, because again, it has its moments with the mechs, the nightmares themselves, but it is not forefront. Basically,
Sure.
the forefront is the political and the high school. Well, not even the high school. High school gets pushed off to the side after season 1. Pretty much the political drama is the forefront, but still recommend it. Still very good. Again, one of my favorite animations of all time, probably.
Certainly. I agree that this is an excellent show. As a mech anime example, of course, with it being one of the greatest shows around, it's of course one of the greatest example of modern mech anime because the mech genre has spanned so incredibly long. We're talking robot, Astro Boy is not a mech anime, but he's a fucking robot. Okay. But like giant robots and space and space combat and, political drama, that's been a thing in anime forever. Mm-hmm. To have it in 4x3, to have it in a show that doesn't take 92 episodes to tell a compelling story, to have it in modern animation, Code Geass is such a modern example of the genre. I think that it is so incredibly well. And I would absolutely recommend this to anyone who is interested in, want to get into robots, want to get into more anime after you watch like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You want a second anime? Oh, let's jump into the deep end with some good shit.
It's like, all right, we gave you a taste. Now you're going in the deep end.
If you could follow that, you can follow this and have a good time.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely agree. Definitely worth the time and definitely great representative for the genre of mech anime. Of course, this is only the beginning of Mecha March for your typical Shonen protagonist because my lazy ass is taking advantage of our conversation here and is going to repurpose it later. Thank you, gentlemen, on Content Breaker for allowing me to multi-use this wonderful product. Of course, you can catch this show, Content Breaker, on all your podcatchers. Talking Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcatcher you prefer at Content Breaker. And of course, on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well at Content Breaker. Gentlemen, Strange, you have stuff too.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter. That's at StrangelyInt. And then you can find me on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Strangely Entertaining. And I'm also on YouTube. Just look up Strangely Entertaining. And then on Twitch, I stream 7 p.m. Central Time, Tuesdays or Thursdays, depending on my schedule.
Or. And of course, you can catch the other homie at Static Dreads with a Z because he is cool. And those are marginally true facts. Of course, the other product at your typical Shonen protagonist on all your podcatchers or your TSP at Twitter as well. Zog, what are we talking about next week?
Let's see here. I believe we're talking about something called Cuphead.
Yep. The Cuphead show.
And here I thought it was a game. All right.
It is.
Either way, I'm going to love the shit out of this soundtrack.
All right.
We'll catch y'all next week for the Cuphead show here on Content Breaker.
Welcome to the Cuphead.